Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the City of Dieppe, January 14th, 2019. Another extraordinary year for the City of Dieppe and its residents. Without further ado, dear colleagues, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Call to order. Quorum. We have quorum. Yes. Conflicts of interest? Any? None. Adoption of the agenda, moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier. The agenda is adopted. Any questions? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Adopted as presented. Item number 7. Presentations, inquiries, and petitions. 7.1. Inquiries by council members to Kodiak Regional RCMP. We have no representative from the RCMP at the moment. If you have any questions, we shall share them with the RCMP. Are there any questions for them, for the RCMP? Okay. Questions by members of the public, our vast public this evening. No questions. Therefore, item 9, adoption of minutes for the regular council meeting held on December 10th. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau. For the question, none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. The minutes of December 10th are accepted as presented. Now for the special council meeting held on December 14th, moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Leboutillier. For the question, none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Moved as adopted as presented. 10 motions, memorandums. Mr. Melanson, good evening. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. For our first to file, we have a tender award, consulting services for the intergenerational community complex. It's recommended to hire CBCL Limited for the amount of $247,440 plus HST for this project. In total, and to hire BC2 at the cost of $263,260 plus HST for plans. This contract was included in a project authorized with Pomerleau Inc. And we recommend to withdraw $400,000 for this contract to reduce the initial contract, and that the city be responsible for the supervision and payment of these invoices. We have account identified for $110,700 that will cover both amounts for the supervision of this entire project. For the reading of the resolution, Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council award the contract for the management of the intergenerational community complex construction project to CBCL Limited at the cost of $247,440 plus HST, and authorize that this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3330127604, General Capital Budget, New Ice Surface. That Council award the contract for coaching services during the design-build period of said project to BC2 at the cost of $263,260 plus HST, and authorize that this expenditure be defrayed from from account number 333012 7604, General Capital Budget, New Ice Service. The Council approved that the contract with Pomerleau Inc. for the design and construction of the intergenerational community complex be reduced by $400,000 for a new total of $30,190,000 plus HST. The Council authorized a budget transfer in the amount of $110,700 from account number 1 to 8597-5945, transfer to General Capital Reserve Fund to account number 742012-8920, General Capital Reserve Fund. I so move. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Godet. For the question, Your Worship, Mr. Léger and BC2 has been working on this project for a long time. What about CBCL? What was the process used to have chosen this company? Mr. Brook, we proceeded with the request for proposal. And the role of this company, they supervise to make sure the work is done as it was proposed in the tender and the contract. So they will supervise and authorize the billing. They work closely with us, and they're on the site. When the developer's on the site, he's on the site as well. How many proposals did we receive? I believe 3. And they were evaluated. Everybody was interviewed, and they were given marks. They were evaluated according to defined criteria. Thank you, Councillor Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. In a historical context, the document doesn't show that Pomerleau consented. Yes, they consented. We have it in writing. Thank you. No other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Adopted as presented. 10.1.2, 2019 grants. Various organizations. Your Worship, you have the list of different organizations supported by the city for a total amount of $296,700. This list was presented during the deliberations on the budget in the fall. Following a discussion with the council, Nazareth House, we've had discussions that are still ongoing, so we want to reserve $2,500 for them, conditional to a partnership with the city of Dieppe for homeless people. So we're discussing that. We gave $1,000 in 2018, and in 2019 we will give them $2,500. The other requests are similar to what we had in 2018. For the reading of the resolution, Councillor Alain. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council authorized the 2019 grants to the various organizations outlined in the memorandum dated January 2nd, 2019, and further authorized the sum of said grants totaling $296,700 be defrayed from account number 1 to 2028-2310, General Operating Budget, Grants, Organizations. I so move. Moved by Councillor Alain, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. For the question, Mr. Godet, thank you. I have 2 questions. Is there an amount for this that was not given yet, not granted? And if yes, do we have the new policy for financing of new organizations. So those are my two questions. You have a list. We have an amount in your list for $2,500 that hasn't been committed yet, and if we have a request with your authorization, we could donate that amount. The example you gave, community theater, is that the only amount left? 2,500? Yes, that's it. We had the same budget as last year, and that's what's left. So for the Nazareth House, we have volunteers at the RCMP. It's offered by Kodiak RCMP. So we were able to give this amount to Nazareth House. Well, it's almost a year now that we had a request. We had told people that made the request that we were waiting the new policy to be able to get back to them with their request. I'll send you an email. The event could have taken place. There was an agreement in place. And I'll send you an email about that. Thank you. Councillor Laboutier, thank you, Your Worship. Mr. Godet asked the question that I would have asked. The amount is $296,700. What is in the budget for this? If I recall, it's the same amount. Exactly. Thank you. If you remember, I think youth participate in international, national activities. So there's some flexibility here, but it depends on the request that we receive. So this is in the section evaluation on requests. 5,000 put aside. Yes, the same as the previous years. Thank you, Councillor Arsenault. The evaluation of the requests, my colleague clarified that. But the MG program, community program, community intervention, there's nothing. Actually, that's for the salary for one person who's a street worker in the community. Thank you. Essentially, the person works with the youth house and boys and girls club, generally. Thank you. Any other questions? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Adopted as presented. 10.2.1. Mr. Malazar, here we have engineering services for the extension of Alain Gillette Street for WSP Canada Inc. It was proposed in the budget. We want to extend Alain Gillette to connect to Gauvin Street before the end of 2019. This is for engineering services in the amount of $35,000 for the plans for this project. For the reading of the resolution, Councillor Arsenault. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council authorized WSP Canada Inc. to undertake engineering services for the Alain Gillette Street Extension project at the cost of $35,000 plus HST, and further authorize this expenditure to be defrayed from account number 3335587640, General Capital Budget Extension Alain Gillette Street, and account number 4390587640, Water and Sewer Capital Budget Extension Alain Gillette Street. I so move. Moved by Councillor Arsenault, seconded by Councillor Brideau. For the question. No questions. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Adopted as presented. 10.3.1, naming event space. Council adopted on October 9th a policy on the naming of streets and spaces in the city. So, according to this policy, we asked the public to submit suggestions, and there was a list annexed to this memo for that the name is chosen by an evaluation committee that we name the street Music Art for the event space that will be used this year with the Congrès Mondial à Cagnes. So this is our recommendation for the reading of the resolution. Councillor Leblanc. The Council accepts that the new event space situated at 475 Notre Dame Street be named Music Art as recommended by the Toponymy Advisory Group. I so move. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Godet. For the question. Mr. Alain, thank you, Your Worship. Does this site will allow people to make comments? I'm not crazy about the name. Maybe it'll grow on me. But will there be the possibility of a company or of a person to give it a name? Well, yes, it's possible we can have a financial partner, but we have to take into consideration the intergenerational center, which we have a partnership, and they chose this name for promotion of events. Thank you. There's a lot of potential for other buildings in the city. Madame Leboutier, that's exactly the same question I wanted to ask as Mr. Alain. The possibility that we could change the name. Thank you. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. The resolution is accepted as presented. And I think we'll find a way to recognize the person who suggested this name. And I want to congratulate staff for the initiative in toponymy that put into place a committee that will help us in the future on other occasions where we're choosing names. And that's all for this evening, except for our round table. Mr. Alain, congratulations. And I have a question, but I want to congratulate midget hockey, the team, the Flyers, this weekend. Benton 3, the Hawks, who won on the weekend. And Athletisme, New-Brunswick, athletics, they received many honors from Caroline Gagnon, Platy Barcha, François Richard, Aronac, Jannick, Jocelyn, Juliette Laurent, who received honors, and also residents of Dieppe. We have a lot of rotaries, traffic circles, and some people in the city have a bit of difficulty knowing how to go around it. I hope that our communications can send a message to residents in Greater Mountain area to figure out how to get around it. Some people do not know. They're not at ease going around the traffic circle. And this type of roundabout. So I tell residents to be patient with people and other drivers So that's my message for tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Alain. Some people evolve faster than others. Councillor Arsenault. Thank you, Your Worship. I have a couple points to mention. I want to thank the city of Dieppe and to people with hearing problems, because we have improved the sound in the room and we're improving it at the aquatic center and as well in the reception area of City Hall. So we're starting 2019 very well, and I congratulate and thank Public Works Division of the City of Dieppe for their snow removal of the streets and sidewalks during the Christmas period. And this week as well, I thank them. Happy New Year to all and good health to everyone. Thank you, Councillor Arsenault. Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. I want to mention one thing. I don't know who's responsible of the market, but last Saturday I was told that a man went to the market and he came in on Acadie Street, and there's a type of roof there that it's leaking, and there was ice, and he fell. And he told me that during the night of the bingo, 3 elder lady fell as well, but nobody was hurt seriously. So we should do something to ensure that the ice is melted there. Thank you. Councillor de Boutier. I have nothing this evening. Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. The only item I would like to mention for residents were during the winter, and we have storms and ice as well. Last week, I know some people called me to tell me about the snow banks after the plow went by, and they didn't have the habit of receiving this. So I'm asking people to be patient. Our staff who works on the snow plows, it's hard work to clean as soon as possible all these streets. Yes, we're going to have snow, and it's not pleasant, but that's winter in Canada and in New-Brunswick. So I'm asking people to be patient. It only lasts a few months, fortunately. So for people who clean the streets, and of course there's people that leave the cars in the streets too. It's difficult for the staff to not hit these cars, and they will leave a few snowbanks as they go by. So we have to give them the chance to do their work well. So I thank you, and Happy New Year to everybody. Councillor Cormier, thank you. Happy New Year to all our citizens. I want to congratulate the Matadors for their 2 victories on the weekend, and I would like invite people to participate in activities on Friday night. The pleasures of winter. Thank you. Councillor Leblanc, Happy New Year. I had a request. I want to direct this to engineering department. I had a request of the possibility of having a crosswalk on Dieppe Boulevard across from Engelhard Street to go to the bus shelter. On Engelhard, there's all kinds of things there, bike shop, and to get the bus on the other side of the street, it's difficult at different times of the day. So this is a request to look at the possibility to put a crosswalk there at the corner of Engelhard on Dieppe Boulevard. Mrs. Spencer, we received that request in the past and we did evaluations. So for a crosswalk at that place, we thought it wasn't safe, and we'll certainly do another evaluation. We understand there's a lot of traffic, but with a lot of traffic, it's difficult to cross the street to get to the bus stop, because the businesses are on the other side of the street. So I would appreciate it if you could look at this possibility. I passed by there in the last few days, and I noticed that a lot of people use that bus stop. Yes, it's used a lot, and it's hard to cross the street. Thank you. We will wait to get information from you on this. Councillor Gaudette, thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to talk about buses. This is a good segue. I think we should announce that we now have a new bus route in Dieppe. It's the 93A that goes up to Lake Burn region and to Domaine de Ruisseau Park. This service will be available from Monday to Friday. There are 3 departures from Champlain Center, 7:15, 8 o'clock, and 8:45, and in the night 4:30, 5 o'clock, and 5:45 p.m. And the shuttle service will not be offered during this period. The details of these routes are available on the city's websites. People that you want to use this bus, well, we've already sent information letters to citizens in that region, and if they want more details, they can go to the city's website. Am I missing some information here? Is there anything else I should ask? I should add? For people who don't have access to internet, we have a booklet that's available in a lot of places here in Dieppe and Moncton. Is it available at the Irving station in Lake Burn? I think it is already. I'll check on that. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you. I would like to wish everybody a new year to everybody. And at the beginning of the meeting, I said we should have another extraordinary year for the city of Dieppe and the staff and the citizens, the residents of Dieppe. And we'll see each other again next week. No. That's true. I knew I had something to add. There will be no meeting next week for public policy. We have changes coming. We've done an internal study that shows that we may not have the same needs as we had when it was put into place at the beginning of 2012. So we'll try to reduce time for council members, and at the same time, if it's necessary, we will add meetings for the public and for presentations of different divisions of City Hall. The next meeting will be on January 28th, a few days before the Super Bowl, where we hope to see certain teams in particular a team from New England. Thank you. Good.